Hello friends, I'm Sunita Shirsat. I have brought you new story after 20 years written by O. Henry. After 20 years, there's a beautiful picture of peace. Actually, this is not beautiful, but it's what happens 20 years deals with that. Exposition that means opening scene. In the opening scene, a policeman walks down the street. He meets a man standing in the doorway of a hardware store. When there's climax, actually, before climax, we are going to learn what is the falling action. They approach a drugstore. Bob says, "You are not Jimmy Wales." Actually, Bob and Jimmy Wales, Silky Bob and Jimmy Wales, are two major characters. They are also friends and they met after some times. But that time, one is policeman and one is as one of the thieves. The other man says that real Jimmy Wales has had Silky Bob under the arrest for 10 minutes and hands him a note from the real Jimmy. What is the climax in the story? The men find out that they were those two friends long ago by the names of Bob and Jimmy Wales. They start to walk down the street. That's the climax. Resolution. He notes, reads that real Jimmy saw Bob's face when at a cigar, realized that he was a wanted outlaw and someone else to bring him in. Now let's have a look on characterization of the story. Silky Bob, who is major character, man in doorway, direct the light show a pale, square jaw face, then indirect, but I know that what Jimmy Bill meet me here if he was still alive. Then second character is Jimmy Bell, who is policeman. Directly he meets as an officer with his stalwart form and slight swagger. Indirectly trying doors as he went twirling his club with many intricate and artful movements. Now let's have a look on the themes of the story. Justice is the major theme. The outlaw Bob was caught and put in jail. Silky Bob was outlawed movers and he troubled people. And justice is one who trouble people is should be caught, put in jail. And the same thing happened in the story. Then second theme is the law. Police force, or that means Jimmy, found the outlaw and arrest him. Third theme is here suspense. You would never know what was or what would happen. There are many plot twists. Last one theme is friendship. Actually, Silky Bob and Jimmy Wales were childhood friends, but one became police officer and one as an outlaw. That means criminal. Bob waited for Jimmy, knowing he would show up, but Jimmy didn't show up as outlaw till the end. At last, Jimmy, that means the policeman, had to arrest his friend, childhood friend. What's the plot summary? A policeman walks down the street, then meets a man standing in the doorway of hardware store. The man standing in the doorway says that he is waiting for a man by the name of Jimmy Wells and tells the policeman then when the restaurant Big Choy Breads was still around. He made a promise to his friend Jimmy to meet him there in 20 years, no matter what the conditions may be. Then the man finishes their conversation and the policeman walks away. Another man walks up with the man in the doorway and asks if he was Bob. Then they find out they are Bob and Jimmy Wells and that they were those friends. They start to walk down the street and soon they approach a drugstore where Bob says, "You are not Jimmy Wells," to the other man. The other man says that real Jimmy has had Silky Bob under the arrest for 10 minutes and hands Bob a note. The note reads that the real Jimmy saw Bob's face, realized that he was wanted as an outlaw, and got someone else to bring him in. This story has been given a beautiful climax as well as twist because narrator O. Henry is special for this. He is known for twist in the story. That means what the reader expects is not happen in the story. O. Henry, under the name of William Sidney Porter, actually you will have a question on this. That means what is the full name of O. Henry? Remember it, William Sidney Porter. He was born in Greensboro in Carolina in 1862. He originally started working at father's drugstore and became licensed pharmacist by the age of 19. Potter would draw his patience and be admired for his skill. O. Henry moved to Texas in March 1882. He took up the residence on a ranch and learned how to do many things. During that time, he had many jobs as well, but in 1894, his employer accused him of embezzlement funds and O. Henry lost his job. He moved to Houston in 1895, started writing for the Post. His prolific writing period began in 1902 in New York City. Sadly, O. Henry drank heavily. By 1908, his health was very bad and he died 2 years later of diabetes and heart leaves problem. O. Henry is also famous for his figurative language used in his story. He has used metaphor, hyperbole, alliteration, onomatopoeia, personification in his story. In the story itself, there are some lines which leads us to the figurative language, that is ornamental language. Metaphor that means uh, congruency of the thing, congruency of the object. The waist is a pretty big proposition. This is metaphorical language, and this language gives the same picture, that means ditto picture. Then hyperbole, that means exaggerated language, has been used by the narrator. For example, here's one of the statement: "You couldn't have dragged Jimmy out of New York." Actually, this is the, that means we can say possible thing, but here that thing is mentioned as impossible fact. Then alliterative language has been used here: stalled, form, slight, swagger. Onomatopoeia, that means onomatopoeic words are here: the wind has risen from its uncertain puffs into a steady blow. Okay, personification is also used here. Some things are personified here, and that personification has given the story a different look. Here we have some interesting facts about this story. First, during his time on the ranch, he learned a bit of Spanish and German from the farmhands. Second one, he had an active social life in Asti. Third one is here, he was a good musician and played guitar and mandolin. Actually, this story is entitled as After 20 Years. That means what happens after some years and what happens within lives of two friends who were childhood friends, but after facing some difficult situation they have different career. One is policeman, one is an outlaw criminal, and destiny is there that policeman has to catch his friend, that means an outlaw. Very interesting story here. Thank you for listening me. If you like this video, please share it, like it, and subscribe my channel. Let's meet once again. Thank you.